Okay, in this lesson we will be modeling the cargo enclosure area. That's this area back here, and we're going to build a wood slat system, 2 posts going this way vertically and then a couple horizontal, and we'll group those, create some bolts that kind of appear to hold them together. And once we have that group together, we will just duplicate that and rotate it in position to either side here and also along the back part here. So let's get started with create polygon primitive cube and bring that into position back here. And let's go ahead and scale that. So this is sort of the first one here. We'll make it just a little bit taller than the seat. So let's bring it back over here into position. About like that. Still floating a little bit. And let's go ahead and make it just a little taller. About like that. That looks good. Okay. And instead of inserting edge loops on this, what I'm going to do is come under here and say bevel. Just go ahead and select bevel, and then we can come over to here and affect sort of the offset of that bevel. That's 0.3 here. And if we select 3 on the keyboard, take a look at that. That looks pretty good. Okay, and now that we have that, let's go ahead and Control D, duplicate it, and copy one over here. And we'll duplicate it again, and bring it over here to the center, kind of lining that up on that center line right here. And I'm now going to rotate it in Z, 90 degrees. So this is the horizontal piece here that we need to now scale up. So I'm going to scale it this way first. Bring it out to about here and make it a little bit wider and maybe just a little bit narrower. So sort of a thin plank there. And then let's move it in front of the board, the other 2 boards, like that, and bring it up towards the top. Okay, now that we've got that, we'll duplicate it and bring it down to here. That looks pretty good, so let's create a bolt here that we'll duplicate and place around here. So let's do that with create polygon primitive, and we will use a cylinder for this. So there it is there. It's going to be quite large. Let's bring it back here. And let's go ahead and select on here. We'll lower the subdivisions down to something like 12. And let's add some tension lines in here just to get started. So the insert edge loop tool, I'm going to place one right here and one on the back here. Okay, so now that we have that, back to object mode. Complete that. Let's select it and go ahead and rotate it in X, 90 degrees. And we're not going to see the back side of it. Let's delete these faces back here. We can do that by coming into the side view and selecting faces. Let's grab the ones back here. And then I'm going to shift select and drag a thin marquee just down the front here. That should have grabbed all the ones in the back. It did. And go ahead and delete those. So now that we've gotten rid of those, we're going to need to quad these off here. We've got triangles, so we'll grab every other edge. Like that, and just delete those. So that's left us with 4 edges here now. And let's do a little shaping on this. We want the bolt to kind of come out a little bit. So I'm going to grab that center vertex, pull that out, and if we take a look at this with 3 selected, it's a little soft. We need to do a little bit more shaping on it and adding a little more resolution. Let's come back to 1 and select faces. Let's grab these faces here, extrude, and we can come here to this. That's just scaling them out. And I'm going to make them a little bit narrower, about like that. And maybe even just pull them back a little bit like that. Alright, we'll need another tension line right here to hold that together. Let's complete that. Insert edge loop, and we'll just drop another one right here. And let's put one here as well as right here just to hold this edge together. And that should do it. Let's complete that. Select 3, go to object mode here, and that looks pretty good. It's obviously oversized. We'll need to scale it down. So let's select R on the keyboard, scale it down, and move it over into position here. A little easier to do that in the 4-panel view. And coming back here into perspective, I'm framing up on that, hitting F on the keyboard. When you have a small piece like this, sometimes it's good to frame up on it. And let's just continue scaling that down a little more. It's probably still too big. And we'll have to also move that back out and slide it over a little bit. And up, we'll put 2 here. I think if we have 1, it wouldn't really hold together in reality. So we'll place 2 here. Leave them kind of on the large side like that so we see them. They're sort of visible. That looks pretty good. Alright, let's duplicate that. Control D. And move that down here. And I'm now going to shift select the other one. Grab them both and Control D. And drag them both down to the next wood panel. Place them there. And shift select again. We've got all 4 now. Control D, and we should be able to just position all of these over here like that. Okay, so now that we have this, I'm going to actually grab the whole thing and hit Control G to group it. And I'm going to center the pivot point on that here. Now that we have this group together, what we can do offline is go ahead and make duplicates of these. You'll have 3 duplicates, and you'll just translate them over to the side here. You'll have to do a little bit of scaling and probably repositioning these pieces here. So in the next lesson, we'll pick things up with working on modeling the dashboard and steering wheel.